Hello everybody and welcome into championship night here for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist. Well, we've been waiting all season to find ourselves 4 drivers worthy of going out to fight for a championship. One last shot at that here tonight with a winner-take-all format. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been excited quite a few times this season for some of the big name races, but not as excited as I am here tonight. We got a good one, so let's get right into it and get things kicked off with your race info here tonight. It's the Capital Auto Championship race. Distance is going to be 156 laps here at Phoenix Raceway, located in the desert. 100% fuel, 4 sets of tires, no fast repairs, open setups, and 3 green-white checkered. So pretty much all the same in terms of what we're usually expecting in terms of weekly format. Phoenix Raceway just over a mile in distance, and it does have a special feature known as the dog leg. We'll talk more about that here as the race gets going. 74 degrees outside, 36% humidity, with clear skies and winds at 2 miles an hour. All right, with that out of the way, let's get right in to your starting grid for the final race here of the season. One of your championship 4 drivers will start on the pole, and that is Austin Fitzgerald in the 74 machine for Dynamic Autosports on his outside. Your second of the championship 4 drivers, Jeff Marble for Team Marble iRacing. He will start from second in the 15 car here tonight. Michael Mueller back in third for Riot Motorsports. Then it's going to be the third of your 4 championship drivers, Tyler Marble. He starts back in fourth for Team Marble iRacing. Jacob Musso, he'll roll off from the 5th spot here tonight with Quentin Clark in 6th. Then it's Danny Gutierrez back in 7th with Kyle Oakley in 8th. Scott Glasso 9th, and Christian Lastra, one of the rookies, rounding out your top 10. Jared Bundy starts from the 11th spot. Then it's going to be GT Hawkins back in 12th. Back in row 7, we find your final of the 4 championship 4 drivers. It's Jake Hickson. He'll start in 13th. Ty Iopolito to his outside in 14th. Back in row 8, it's Cody Matthews and Brian Conklin. Ryan Haynes and Brett Spott in row 9. And then it's Johnny Mahalchuk and Roger Shelton back in row 10. Jeffrey Souza, Alan Pajari in row number 11. Thomas O'Hara, Bill Benedict in row 12. Greg Bartlett and Andrew Russo in row 13. And then it's the Canadian driver, Mark Zabak, rounding out the field. He will start in 27th. All right, here we go. Pace car pulled off a while ago off of turn 2 to head down a very long pit road. And we get ready to roar these engines back to life one more time this season. 4 championship drivers, 1 trophy. Who wants it? We're going to find out. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Phoenix. Big time restart for Austin Fitzgerald in the 74. Quickly able to extend that lead that he had starting this race. As right now he's got himself about a car length over second place Jeff Marble. And we'll see how aggressive everybody wants to be early. Different strategies. We're going to see quite a few through this championship race, not just for the championship 4, but really everybody in the field. But I think one of the best strategies is going to be getting aggressive on these restarts. Notice everybody cutting the track. That's that special feature that I told you about, known as the dogleg trouble out back. We had one hard in the wall. I believe, was it Bill Benedict? Looks like everybody saved it. I'm not sure exactly which car it was. I don't think it was Benedict. On second look, that car looks okay. Looks like it was Brett Spott. Massive damage to the 35 machine. He's going to have to take it back to the pits immediately. You saw right at the top left of your screen, Brett Spott, as they were working through the dogleg. Something in that car. I'm not sure if he had an issue or if he got some contact from out back, but that car snapped right in a very, very high-speed portion of the racetrack. That led to all the damage he sustained. So let's go back and take a look at this here. Didn't even get a report on it because it happened so quick. We just happened to catch it here with our cameras. So watch Brett Spott here in the 35. He's on the outside. Johnny Mahalchuk. And then as they cross start finish line to go through the dog leg here. Oh, as he gets a little bit loose and then overcorrects. And look at this hit. Massive, massive hit into that outside safer barrier. Roger Shelton very lucky to sneak through on the outside. And then see Alan Pajari heavy on the brakes here, trying to miss the 35. Does a good job of doing so. But for Brett Spott, man, that's just a small mistake that leads to a big incident here. Still cold tires, and there's a little bit of a turn here. And as he goes to hit the turn, you see the back end of that car just start to go on him. He tries to correct, but just puts a little bit too much wheel into it. All right, so Brett Spott in the pits. First car of the night that has gone to the pits with damage. Meanwhile, up front, side by side between 2 of your championship 4 drivers. This is Jeff Marble and Austin Fitzgerald going at it. Fitzgerald with 13 wins on the season up to this point here tonight, looking to see if he can get number 14. And then Jeff Marble with 2 wins on the season. He's looking to see if he can make it number 3 here tonight. Still a lot of laps to go in this race. A lot of things that are going to have to play out and unfold. But, of course, Pit stop's going to be the name of the game, especially if this race has a tendency to go green for these really, really long runs. Again, 156 laps. That is not a long time at this track, all things considered, especially when you look at the fact that they're clicking off lap times at just over 27 seconds. In fact, for Fitzgerald, you see 27.5s, and really it's like him and Marble have been kind of swapping back and forth. Marble actually had his fastest lap on lap 3 of the race. Actually, I guess I should say that would translate to, I believe, lap 4 of the race. And so either way here, we'll be keeping an eye on these two to see. And again, I mean, last season, if you remember back to that championship race, it really was Fitzgerald who had the best car. And the advantage of that is, even though he had bad luck and things didn't work out, he comes into tonight really kind of knowing what to work with. He already had a set that he knew was fast, and so he didn't have to worry about making as many adjustments as, say, Jeff Marble or Tyler Marble would have had to worry about. And so as we continue to talk about these two and watch them up front, let's hop right in to some of the driver cams that we have here tonight. Championship 4 drivers, 3 out of the 4, carrying onboard views for us here tonight. The first one, of course, is Austin Fitzgerald. And Fitzgerald, of course, one of the fan favorites, the driver out of Las Vegas, Nevada. What a season he's put together, and it all comes down to this. It's just, that's the way this format works too, right? I mean, if this was the traditional points format that we used to see in the old days of NASCAR, Fitzgerald would have walked away with this championship probably before the playoffs even started. But with this playoff format, wins are great. They get you everywhere up to this championship race, but then it all resets. All that matters here tonight is who finishes the highest of your championship 4. And again, you'll notice on the scoring tower there on the left side of your screen, the championship 4 drivers are highlighted in purple. They also have a P next to their name. So any driver that you see highlighted in purple with a P next to their name, those are one of your 4 championship drivers, including Austin Fitzgerald, Jeff Marble, Tyler Marble. Oh, man. Oh, huge hit. Trouble, big trouble. Caution is out. Oh, my goodness. What in the world happened there? I'm trying to figure out still who that was. Wow, what a hit that was. Was that Michael Mueller? Yes, it was. Oh, my goodness. Holy cow. He came flying. You would have thought he had no brakes with how hard he went into the wall. That is one of the most dramatic incidents that we have seen all season. I'm showing you the driver cam for Jeff Marble, even though I'm showing you Michael Mueller's car in the pits, because I figured he'd be freaking out right now with just how close that was. Oh my goodness. I mean, this happened just behind 2 of your championship 4 contenders. Can see Mueller's car's destroyed. Obviously, some major mechanical malfunction here. So let's go back and look at this. At least I'd have to believe it was a malfunction. I mean, like, the amount of speed that he was carrying into turn 1. Watch this. He's on the inside here of Tyler Marble. Goes through the dog leg. He's okay there. He's okay there. Oh, the throttle sticks on him. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Jeff Marble. Wow. Watch how close this was. I tell you what, I've been broadcasting for a long time. I have never seen something quite like this. Watch this in full speed. The view out of one of your championship 4 contenders, Jeff Marble. Oh, my goodness. What in the world happened there? Quentin Clark, you heard it. We saw the cockpit view. The throttle stuck, and he came within, and I'm telling you, mere inches of ending Jeff Marble's night. Watch this. Oh, my goodness. Gets across the nose, and then the car just absolutely slams into the outside wall. Jeff Marble. Boy, I wish we could have had his driver cam up live as that happened, because I'm telling you, I promise his heart skipped a beat. And for not Quentin Clark, that was actually Michael Mueller, I meant to say. Michael Mueller, the car that hit the wall. You wonder what he was thinking. I mean, he certainly had no intention there, obviously, a malfunction. But, I mean, man, first of all, what are the chances of something like that happening? And then, he goes down low here. I think he's trying to do the best he can to maybe make the issue minimum, but oh, man, if that's not luck right there, I don't know what is. That is absolutely one of the wildest things I have ever seen in my time of broadcasting here for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Watch it again here from TV2. So we'll go back to full screen first. And you're going to see, as the 99 gets close here, Jeff Marble, innocent bystander, and he had to be going, I promise you, probably over 150 miles an hour upon impact, and obviously just destroying that race car. That'll bring his night to an end, but man, somehow Jeff Marble counting his blessings right now to still be alive after that one. Tell you what, I know it's early and normally we wouldn't be getting an interview, but I have got to see what Jeff Marble's feeling like after what we just saw right there. Hey Jeff, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Oh, well, man, I'm good. How are you after what we just saw happen? I mean, I have never seen something like that in my time of broadcasting, especially over here. It looked like an issue, but, I mean, what was going through your head when you saw the 99 shoot across your windshield?
I seen, in my left monitor, I seen a yellow blur. I was like, somebody really sent it down there trying to drive the apron like in real life, and then all of a sudden, right across my car, I was like, I thought we were all going to die. So I'm glad it was a ghosting issue and a computer issue. Good Lord, scared the hell out of me.
Oh, man, that was a close call for sure. Hey, the car's okay. You're still good to go. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, man. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. There you go. Said it was a ghosting issue. I'm assuming he means that maybe he got disconnected. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to hear from Michael Mueller what happened there. Either way, situation's been cleaned up. Mueller is currently out of the race as it stands for the moment. Jeff Marble is okay, as is Austin Fitzgerald. They're ready to lead the field back to green here, as we have now clicked off 14 of the 156 laps of this race here tonight. And again, for Austin Fitzgerald, he started to show some pace there as we were slowly dipping into the medium portions of the run, but not enough time to stretch it out, so we'll see if he can do it this time. Here we go. Green flag back in the air as they fan out 3, 4, 5 wide further back through the dog leg. And they all quickly have to try to file it back out here as they work through turns 1 and 2. Again, this is a very wide corner when you consider the fact that there's no out of bounds here. You can go all the way down by the inside wall, similar to technically the lane that we saw the 99 in there during that last incident, but of course he was out of control. You go down there controlled, you might be able to make up some spots. Either way, the 15 and the 74 are able to get 1-2 here over the first lap of that restart. Tyler Marble in the 40H trying to take third away from Quentin Clark. Looks like he's going to be able to do that. Dives it down, gets it deep enough into the corner to be able to slide up, and then a little bit further back, the bright yellow 16 on the roof of the red and black number 16 car. That's Jake Hickson. For Dynamic Autosports, they almost had 3 out of their 4 drivers in the championship for Ty Iopolito, of course, not quite able to make it. And for Jake Hickson, this is going to be interesting because we've seen this now over the course of the last couple of weeks with this 16 car. You've almost kind of felt like he struggled. I hate to say it, but that's kind of what it seemed like. He's kind of struggled over, the course of these shorter runs and really through the first half of the race. But man, by the end of the race, it seems like he's been able to find this speed. I don't know if he's found it through adjustments or just starting to learn the racetrack and get a feel for it a little bit more. But I don't know if tonight's a night that you can really afford to have that happen. I think if you're Jake Hickson, you got to worry about getting to the front here as soon as you can. You want to keep those other of the championship 4 drivers at least within reach. And so for Hickson right now, who sits back in 13th, he's got a lot of work to do as the other 3 of your championship 4 are currently all inside the podium position. Fitzgerald still with a very strong lead right now. I know we kind of showed you what the cockpit looked like for the real life, but let's show you what the onboard virtual cockpit looks like here for Fitzgerald and take you in a lap around Phoenix Raceway. So he cuts the dog leg. This is the highest speed section of the racetrack, so they get up to just about 160 miles an hour before it's heavy on the brakes for the very, very minimally banked and pretty wide turn 1 and 2. And then down the backstretch here, they get just over 150 miles an hour before it's back on the brakes down into turn 3 and 4, which is, of course, a little bit more of a banked corner, a little bit less round, if you will. Almost kind of reminds you of the tunnel turn at Pocono to a certain degree. And then, of course, cutting that dog leg as he got back to the start-finish line. Weather outside, by the way, notice that track temp, 90 degrees. That's not that hot, all things considered. So I think that grip shouldn't be too much of an issue here in terms of being any worse, at least, via the track temp. But, of course, old tires here at Phoenix, certainly, if your car is not set up to handle a long run, it can get pretty treacherous pretty quickly. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, as we've only completed 21 of 156, and, of course, with that caution, we're on a pretty short run right now ourselves. But Jeff Marble has shown great short run speed so far, and even his teammate Tyler Marble has shown good pace so far as well. And when you have 2 teammates kind of teaming up on a guy here, you wonder, is Fitzgerald maybe just a little bit more nervous as he watches out in that mirror? That's what the gearbox view looks like for Austin Fitzgerald. Jeff Marble gets another big run. Can he beat him down to the dog leg here? 15 is going to try to shortcut it. Can he get a little bit lower? Yes, he can. Jeff Marble was able to pull even into 1 and 2. Nothing doing just yet. Can he hold side by side down the back? That'll be the big question right here. Not quite. He has to slot back in line behind the 74. Just couldn't quite hold the momentum. And by the way, it's kind of interesting, the layout here at Phoenix, the way it's set up. I know we just went on the onboard view for Fitzgerald and watched a lap around, but it used to be flipped. What is now turns 1 and 2 over here used to be turn 3 and 4. And then what used to be, or what is now, I should say, turn 3 and 4 used to be turn 1 and 2. And that meant that the dogleg was on the back straightaway. That certainly allowed for quite a bit more chaos, in my opinion, as everybody was up to full speed by that time, but still one of the unique features here. And Phoenix has not been the championship track all that long, all things considered. Used to be Homestead Miami Speedway up until maybe a handful of years or so ago. Maybe a little bit more than that, but the point being, there's still some drivers, even some of these Championship 4 drivers that, you know, if they've been running in leagues for a long time, they're probably used to the, you know, kind of traditional Homestead Miami Speedway mile and a half to round out the season, but now that it's a short track, a lot more technicality that goes into it. In Phoenix, maybe not the toughest short track to drive, but certainly one of the toughest to be super fast at, as there's a lot of areas that you can find speed, but at the same time, a lot of areas that you can make mistakes as well. So as we go back in the field, still keeping an eye on the scoring tower there on your left, and Jake Hickson, who last time we checked was in 13th, and he's still in the same spot at the moment. 16 car is kind of stuck in a group of traffic right now. Looks like he does have some more speed than the 5 car of GT Hawkins, but he just hasn't been able to work his way around yet. And so for Austin Fitzgerald, he's probably hoping to see his teammate get up there. And of course, it's kind of an interesting 2-on-2 setup this season for your Championship 4 drivers. 2 Team Marble iRacing drivers, and then of course 2 Dynamic Autosports drivers. Jake Hickson and Austin Fitzgerald versus Jeff Marble and Tyler Marble. And for Jeff and Tyler Marble right now, we kind of saw the way and the chaotic finish that we had to the championship last season. They're hoping that we don't see more of the same this season, and it's more of a traditional finish. And of course, one of the things that you always got to consider here, really at any short track for that matter, is the bump and run. And it is very viable here at Phoenix, mostly through 3 and 4. I don't know if you're going to see anybody try it through 1 and 2, but let me set this scenario for you. End of the race. Austin Fitzgerald, let's say, we'll just use for an example, Fitzgerald's leading. Maybe it's Jeff Marble or Tyler Marble that's close second. I don't think he's close enough now, but how we saw him maybe just a handful of laps or so ago, if he's running pretty close to the back bumper of that 74, give him a little shot, getting into 3, sends him up the racetrack, and he's not going to have enough time to get back to him to retaliate before you get back to the start-finish line. So just keep that in mind. Of course, these Championship 4, while they are 3 of the fastest in the series, they're also 3 of the cleanest. Or excuse me, 4 of the cleanest, I apologize. And so we'll have to see if anybody considers that move or if they decide to just keep it respectful. Either way, 28 of 156 laps complete, and Fitzgerald still starting to stretch that gap now. About half a second. Danny Gutierrez back racing now with Christian Lostjen. Lostjen is another one of our drivers carrying an onboard view tonight, and we saw this last week, and I actually had to make a comment on it to him. Looks like we're seeing it again this week. He's racing on, it looks like an F1 wheel or a GT wheel, whatever you want to call it. And that is a really, really interesting choice there for Lostjen. I gotta think that's, I would think it's tougher. And maybe not, but big bulky car with a tiny little wheel. It's designed more for road courses. Who knows? But Lostjen right now, it's the only wheel he's got from what I heard, and it worked good for him last week at Martinsville, so who knows? Maybe it'll give him some good luck again here tonight. Kyle Oakley in the 17, trying to get up here to battle with these two. And he'll see if he can get a look here to the outside of Jared Bundy as they get into the corner. Doesn't look like it for Kyle Oakley. Of course, he made it to the round of 12, but not able to quite advance to the round of 8. And right now, Oakley is down 2 positions from where he started this race at, in that 10th spot. And going back a little bit further in the field, another one of our driver cams that we've got here tonight is Johnny Mahalchuk for No Excuses Racing, who sits back in the 21st position. He's down 2 spots from where he started this race at. So still certainly has a little bit of work to do, but still quite a bit of time to do it. So no rush just yet. And then Ryan Haynes carrying an onboard view for us here tonight. If his will pop up, that is. Yep, sure enough, there it goes. Ryan Haynes, the driver out of Center Hill, Florida. Saw his teammate Brett Spott have to retire early after a big incident on the 2nd lap of the race, just after they crossed the start-finish line. So now Haynes going to be looking to carry the torch here tonight. He's already up a spot from where he started in 16th. He'll be looking for a little bit more as this race continues on. Tyler Marble, who sits in third, one of your championship 4 drivers. He's got a good run going right now. There's the onboard view as Tyler has kind of faded away here from Jeff Marble, who's of course faded away from Austin Fitzgerald. And I think that's a little bit interesting. Just kind of tells you the difference, the ways that these cars are kind of fading as the long run goes on. Fitzgerald right now looks like has the most speed in the long run, but Jeff Marble and Tyler Marble seem to be kind of fading at an equal pace. So those two obviously bring in very similar sets. They might make different adjustments though through this first round of green flag pit stops once we get to it. So when they cross the line this time, it'll be 35 of 156 laps complete. And so that means we'll go ahead and take our first side-by-side break of the night. You won't miss a thing. Stick with us as Austin Fitzgerald leads at Phoenix.
Capital Subaru, we value your time, whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team. Everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Welcome back to the Capital Auto Championship 156 here at Phoenix Raceway. Well, you didn't miss anything. Of course, you saw it all side by side while we were on break. Fitzgerald continues to lead, but the gap between himself and Jeff Marble continues to expand, now up to just over 1.5 seconds, as Jeff Marble looks like maybe trying to find a little something different here, at least through 1 and 2 that time. And when he can see Fitzgerald in his windshield, but really can't do anything about it right now. Fitzgerald just looking a lot better on the long run so far. And the other thing I did want to kind of note here and want you to keep focus on is there is the option to shift here at Phoenix. Now, whether or not we were going to see it and where we were going to see it was going to be a little bit more the question Now, it looks like for Jeff Marble, at least for now, at this point in the run, the way he has the car geared, he doesn't have to worry about shifting. He's able to stay in fourth. Let's compare that here to Austin Fitzgerald, see if he's in the same boat or if he's got it set up a little bit different. And, of course, the two areas where you would expect to shift would be towards the end of the dog leg here and then towards the end of the backstretch. And there you go. So there's the upshift from fourth to fifth for Austin Fitzgerald. And meanwhile, for Jeff Marble, he is not upshifting. So, you know, you kind of wonder, does that play a small difference in things? Certainly wouldn't be a major one. Now, as they go down the backstretch, does he shift as well? He does not. So you still wonder if that's playing a role in any of the speed here that Fitzgerald's seeming to find on this long run compared to Jeff Marble. Either way, though, still 3 of your 4 championship drivers currently sitting inside the top 4. And the only one that's not is Jake Hickson, but he's gained now. Since the last time we saw him, he is up to 9th. And so Hickson is making some progress here, up 4 spots from where he started this race at. But it was really important that he gets into this top 10 now. I will say through the 16, normally I'd say he would need a caution, right? That would help him group up, but I just, like I said, from what we saw the last couple weeks, and maybe it's the same here tonight, maybe he's got enough long run speed to where he wants this thing to go green and he'll really start to gain and get past some of these guys at the end of some of these long runs that we get. And so each pit stop going to be crucial for the 16 to be nice and smooth as well if he wants to get up to any of these other championship 4 drivers. Further back in the field, looks like for the most part everybody minding their P's and Q's. We only had a couple issues to note so far in this race. But after that, things have been pretty clean and green. Brett Spott, of course, still in the pits trying to get damage fixed from that lap 2 incident and the damage he sustained from that. Michael Mueller has retired from the race after the incident that he had that almost took out Jeff Marble. Looks like he has retired from the race since. Then it's Andrew Russo back in 25th with Bill Benedict 24th. Mark Zabak is currently sitting 23rd. Alan Bajari in 22nd. Brian Conklin in 21st with Thomas O'Hara in 20th. Look at this. Ryan Haynes here for BMP. Bringing it down to the pits. This is an interesting call here. I wondered if this was maybe a little bit early here. Let's see what the 39 decides to take here when he goes into his box. Will the call be 4 tires and fuel? That'd be my guess here. You see the 39. He'll drive in. Shifts it. Oh, he overshot just a little bit. I think he'll be okay, though. He's going to jack up the right side. We'll see if he does the left next. And looks like the crew will come around the car and, sure enough, lift up the left side as well. So it's 4 tires, filling it up with fuel. Ryan Haynes, and we'll see if that kicks off the sequence of pit stops. Again, that felt a little bit early. I guess if you didn't pit under that first yellow, then it's not necessarily early. But I was thinking these guys would be able to go till probably at least we got into the 60s, maybe even the 70s, before you'd have to start thinking about maybe when you're going to make that first green flag stop. And so Fitzgerald's still in the lead. Gap now up to almost 3 seconds over Jeff Marble. A little bit of side-by-side, though, now further back here. Tyler Marble is getting ready to be under fire here from the 95 of Jacob Musso. He's really started to find some speed. Jacob Musso, of course, got himself a win in the round of 12, which is, you know, the unfortunate part because Musso not quite able to advance to the round of 12, where he won at Talladega, and if he could have, he would have automatically locked himself into the round of 8, and who knows, maybe we would have saw the 95 fighting for a championship tonight, and as much speed as he's got so far, it's going to remain as a what-if for Jacob Musso if he could have got himself through to that round of 12. Ooh, Loshtin really going to lay it on the door right here, the 95. Loshtin washed up the track a little bit here and eventually looked like he had to get out of the throttle to make sure he didn't get into Jacob Musso. As Jared Bundy sits back in 7th, and as Jake Hickson now up to 8th. So Hickson has almost caught this group that is really kind of the group separating himself from the leaders. And so I am very curious here to see how quickly Jake Hickson can get by these 4, I should say. And this has got to be a little bit of a worrisome sign for everybody else to see how far back Hickson fell. I mean, you wonder, is it a matter of just that's how much different tire wear is when you save tire versus not saving tire, or is the 16 just got this much better of a long run piece to work with here tonight? We'll compare some of his lap times to some of the drivers ahead. Looks like Jake Hickson, the last 4 out of 5 laps, he's been faster than Jared Bundy, so he's definitely tracking down this group. But I do want to show you that lap time again. Let's look at that last lap. The last 2, as a matter of fact. It looks like a 28.7 and a 28.7. You compare that to Fitzgerald. who's putting down 28.6s, so he's not quite as fast as his teammate yet, but he still has pretty good pace, and it looks like he is, however, faster than second place Jeff Marble at the moment. So keep an eye on that. We'll see if he is able to get up here, maybe gets to second. That would be the point at where I think he would maybe need a caution to have a chance to really go any further in the battle of trying to catch his teammate at least. And once Hickson gets there, these lap times going to fall off maybe a little more as now they go 2, almost 3 wide there down the back stretch. Tyler Marble fighting with Jacob Musso here. This is for the 4th spot. And not looking like Tyler's going to be able to hold it, and it's going to be close here. Musso, I would assume, cuts the dog leg here, takes the short way around. Sure enough, he does. Tyler Marble's going to do the same, though. 48 will stay even as they get off into 3. Ooh, man. Excuse me, as they get off into 1 and 2. Saw that big wiggle right there from the 48 of Marble. He was getting ready to jump down, realized the 95 was there, and wobbled the car up, and now he gets into the outside wall just a little bit. Austin's going to try to take advantage as well, and all of a sudden, things may be starting to spiral out of control just a little bit here for the 48 car. He needs to try to get into position here and get back in a rhythm. And if you're Tyler Marble here and you're struggling really bad, I think maybe he's one of the guys that has to go with the strategy of short pitting here so he can get some fresh tires, maybe make an adjustment, something that's going to make you faster on the next run, at least in the back end of it. Because if he loses too much time or too many positions right here, and we don't get any cautions, he may be pinned too far in the back to have a chance at it, even if he finds something late in the race. Jake Hickson still 2x2 here with Kyle Oakley, the other driver that was, well, I was going to say on the move here, as Oakley has not gained or lost any positions from where he started this race at right now where he runs, but he had lost a couple, so good to see the 17 now get some of that speed back, and he'll actually, I believe, get clear of the 16 right here. Not quite. Oakley's got the better line, though, here through 3 and 4. Hickson, though, not going to let him have it, at least not yet. Jared Bundy in the 3 car just in front of these two, and then Christian Lodgton and Tyler Marble finally going to dispose of their side-by-side battle as Lodgton will take that position. Jared Bundy is going to try to take a spot as well. And Bundy close, but doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to get it just yet. Just a little bit further back from that battle. Running in kind of the group, I guess I should say the group behind that battle, Cody Matthews in 11th, and then Ty Iopolito, who currently sits back in 12th. And, well, Ty is not fighting for a championship here tonight. He's still got to be a pretty happy driver. You might be asking yourself, well, why is that? Well, the reason is because he is your season rookie of the year. Did a great job all season, accumulated the most points of any rookie, and so as a result, he has been deemed and crowned rookie of the year. So nice job to Ty Iopolito on that, and that's what's interesting. And of course, if you remember back, he also almost won the Noble 5 Challenge, and so I'm sitting here doing the math. That means he could almost took home $100 in bonus money for the season if he would have won both of those challenges together. You get $50 for the BNP Rookie of the Year award, which is, of course, what Ty Iopolito won. Thank you to BNP for the sponsorship on making the rookies stay competitive this year. And then, of course, it was $50 to the Noble 5 Challenge winner, but that was Jeff Marble. But Ty Iopolito, again, good season in terms of making a little bit of extra money and learning a lot. And while he does have a win on the season, and of course the most points, we got to see his fellow rookie teammate Jake Hickson as the one that was able to make it to the championship. For Iopolito came close, made it to the round of 8, but again, not quite able to advance to that last round, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we talk about how tough and how talented this field is. This playoff format, while it is a little bit interesting with the way it's set up, it's almost more difficult to a degree because you know that things reset. And so for Ty Iopolito, when you get into the playoffs, you know, having a lot of points in the regular season is great and all, but if you're not able to perform in the playoffs, it doesn't really matter, and just not quite able to get a big win or a big break when he really needed it in the playoffs to keep advancing through. But if you were this guy, Austin Fitzgerald, you didn't really need any big breaks. I mean, he made his own breaks throughout the entire season and then made a handful more in the playoffs. 13 wins in total, looking to tack on 14 here tonight. And I'd be curious if that's more wins than what we saw Joshua Watson accumulate last season, and if that's maybe going for an all-time win record in a single season here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. So Austin Fitzgerald continues to lead that gap now. Is up to, it looks like, almost 6 seconds over Jeff Marble, who now is getting ready to have to contend with a couple guys of his own here Quentin Clark is closed in the picture. And then it's Jacob Musso, the next closest car after that. You see Mark Sabak in frame there, but that is not for position. So Jacob Musso, who was able to get around Tyler Marble, Christian Losgen, and everybody else in this second group, now leads it as, speaking of Tyler Marble here, continues to fade back. He's now almost back to 11th at the moment. As Jay Kickson, he got up to this pack pretty quick, but fortunately he's kind of gone no farther since then. So for Jake Kickson here, we'll see if that adjustment to keep going towards the front is just a pit stop away, or if maybe he is going to need a caution after all. You see those 4 purple drivers on the scoring tower. Fitzgerald leading, Jeff Marble second, and do we have one up in the wall there? It appears that we did. I forgot exactly who that was right there. Like one of the white color scheme cars, and yep, sure enough it is. Mark Sabak into the outside wall, and he's got significant right front damage. Makes me think he must have hit it pretty hard here. We just talked about him not being for position. And as they get into the... Oh, yikes. Gonna see how this one develops right here as he goes down onto the dog leg. Trying to turn the car. The back end starts to get loose. And then he's going to overcorrect right here as he's trying to straighten it back out. Whoa, another really close call as he almost collected Quentin Clark. Lucky break for the 0 there to not get collected. That would have ended his day for sure. And then Zabak just respectfully making sure that he keeps it on the wall here until everybody's able to get by. So nice job right there by Mark Zabak, staying respectful. Doesn't want to bring out a caution here. He knows what these Championship 4 drivers are fighting for. And watch it again here. So as he gets down on the dog leg, he's okay. It's going to be as he starts to try to come back up. He's trying to turn the car, and it starts to unsettle a little bit. And then right as he hits that transition from flat to a little bit of banking, it just really gets that car upset and out of shape. To the wall he goes. So it looks like Zabak's going to bring it down to the pits here for potentially some repairs, or just going to call it for the night here. We'll have to see. As Fitzgerald now has that gap up to almost 7 seconds. And remember, a lap here is only about 27 seconds. So if Fitzgerald continues this pace and we continue to go green, he's going to start putting a significant number of cars a lap down. You see right now, majority of the field is about half a track behind him, maybe a little bit less than that. So he's still got a long ways to go before he'd catch most of the field, but I mean, we get to the lap 100, 120 mark without a caution, and he's still running the pace he is now. I would certainly not put it past the realm of possibilities. Right now, Marble's still holding off Quentin Clark, who, again, is probably still trying to regroup after what just happened a couple laps ago. And that was almost a similar situation to what we saw with Michael Mueller, his Riot Motorsports teammate earlier, who had a mechanical issue. We'll call it a mechanical issue, but it sounds like it was a technical issue that led the throttle to hang and just absolutely send that car through 1 and 2 up just in front of Jeff Marble. And as a matter of fact, if you're just tuning in and you missed it, I'll flash you back to exactly what I'm talking about. This happened early in the race to bring out our first caution and almost led to what would have been the end of the night here for Jeff Marble. Take a look. There's Michael Mueller, has an issue, throttle hangs, and oh my goodness, right across the nose of Jeff Marble. If you don't think that view was close enough, let's show you what it looked like here from the nose cam. Marble's running, he's running, and then all of a sudden, watch here on the left side of the screen, it's going to be a blur. Don't blink or you'll miss it. Wow. That's how close it was to end the night for Jeff Marble. But I mentioned that because, like I said, that issue that we just saw with Mark Zabak was similar in the sense of how close it was for the 0 of Clark getting taken out by the 9 of Mark Zabak, but got a lucky break and continues to fight here to see if he can go out and cap the season off with a good podium finish. Quentin Clark was another driver who not quite able to advance past the round of 8, came so close, but not quite able to come up with the victory that we kind of figured he was going to need either last week at Martinsville or the week before at Homestead. But a good season all in all for Riot Motorsports. They won quite a few races together between Mueller and Quentin Clark. Clark had a lot of speed last time we were at Phoenix. In fact, if we can't flash you back via actual replay, but if you think back and you remember back to when we came to Phoenix in the spring, well, think about who your race winner was there. I'll give you a hint. It was one of the Riot Motorsports teammates. Yeah, you probably guessed it by now. It was indeed the 0 of Quentin Clark. Got the job done at Phoenix, and he's going to be looking to see if he can get the job done here, the track he already won at this season again tonight. And the big thing about Phoenix, too, is, of course, and the advantage, I should say, about coming to this track once earlier in the season is that you get a chance to take notes, find out how good you are. Now, of course, things are different. Track temp's going to be different. Weather's going to be different when we come here for the fall race, but championship on the line, you usually expect those 4 championship cars to be the fastest ones in the field, and so far we just haven't quite seen that. Austin Fitzgerald, Jeff Marble's certainly been looking that way, but for Jake Hickson and Tyler Marble, struggles still slowly but surely continue. As you see, Jake Hickson, he got to 7th, but kind of in a herd right now of traffic as you see some of the guys who have already pit going by. Danny Gutierrez not for position right now. I believe Jared Bundy is, though, sure enough. And so Jared Bundy trying to take this spot from Jacob Musso. Will Hickson see if he can follow the 3 car? Nothing doing that time. We'll keep it in line. So as Fitzgerald continues to lead, now you start to ask that question of when are we going to see this green flag pit stop here for Fitzgerald? Based off when we went back green, I would say it's still maybe possible to make this on a 1 stop. I'm trying to think the lap number that they'd have to go to for that to really make sense. It would probably be close, probably pretty close to lap 90 would be my general guess on how far they would need to go to make this race a 1-stopper. Any sooner than that, I just don't know. It'll be close. We'll have to find out, but Fitzgerald going to run this as long as he can. And right now, all he needs to not happen is a technical malfunction like it's already happened here tonight to one driver and like happened to himself, of course, last season as he was coming off of turn 2. Wheel disconnected, shot that car straight into the outside safer barrier and ended his chances. So for Austin Fitzgerald, he's obviously hoping that that doesn't happen here tonight and that he can be crowned FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series champion. There's Mark Zabak in the 9, back out on track. Looks like he was able to get that right front fender cleaned up after some of the damage that he sustained. And look who's on the pits, Tyler Marble. Okay, so now this is the first pit stop from one of your championship 4 drivers. You just saw Jeffrey Souza there in the pits, who we were showing you, but Tyler Marble is the one that we're a little more concerned with right now because, apologize for that, but a little bit more concerned with right now because this 48 car seemed to be struggling on speed in the long run. He had pretty good short run pace, but all of a sudden, that car looked like it kind of fell off a cliff. And so now for Tyler Marble here, ooh, and he overshoots his box. That's a second mistake right there. Not a huge one, but really can't afford to give up any time right now with as far back as he stands. And so he'll take 4 tires. Wonder if he maybe made any sort of adjustment on that car to see if he can get it to turn a little bit better. So now that he's pit, looks like we are seeing this trend now start to spread throughout the field a little bit more. Johnny Mahalchuk, he has brought it in for his first round of service here tonight, as has Christian Lozgin. Scott Glasso, Danny Gutierrez making his way out of the pits. Here comes Roger Shelton for No Excuses Racing, and then Jared Bundy in the 3 car. So we still haven't seen a pit stop from 2 of your leaders, but here comes Quentin Clark, who is sitting in 3rd. Clark in the 00. It's going to be followed by the 17 of Kyle Oakley. We'll see if he's able to get any more takers here with him. Jacob Musso, sure enough, also decides to come down. GT Hawkins and the number 5. He'll bring it down to the pits. Just behind him, the 7 of Christian Lozgin back down in the pits as well. So you wonder now if for Fitzgerald, I almost think that, you know, as big of a gap as he had, I think the only strategy that you go with here if you're Austin Fitzgerald is just run this thing out as long as you can. He's got such a gap that he'll still probably fall a lap down, I would think, depending on who's the closest car that pit really early to him. But he won't have that. He won't have lost that lap for a while, if that makes sense. I'll explain it more when everything cycles out. But the big thing that you got to worry about here, and we were saying this last week at Martinsville, is that when you eventually make that pit stop, you will go at least a lap down. The lap times are just too short. The track's too short. You will go a lap down. Now, the problem with that is if you get a caution and right on cue, there it is. Trouble here. And what question is, where's it at? Alan Pajari, one of the Dynamic Autosports teammates, has gone around. Big damage to the 34. Johnny Mahalchuk's in the wall as well. Fitzgerald's going to skate by. It looks like Mahalchuk's just going to bring it to a halt here, as Pajari's going to try to limp it back to the pits. Oh boy. Now this is one of the things that we said you worry about. That's good news and a big break for Fitzgerald and Jeff Marble here, as they will bring it into pit this time. I wonder if they just weren't going to be good to go on fuel another lap. That's kind of my guess. That's interesting. I thought they would have had to go around once here with the pace car before the pit road opened, but to see where it puts them, to kind of figure out if that was indeed the case. Either way, let's go back and see what happens here to Pajari and Mahalchuk. As is Pajari coming out of the pits when this happens? No, he's going to be trying to dive the dogleg, and we've seen this issue a couple times for different drivers tonight. Cars being a little unstable here through the dogleg. Let's see, as he gets down on the apron, oh, it just starts to turn sideways. Tries to save it. Has to turn it really hard right to miss the inside wall. Does that, but then eventually he's going to loop it all the way around. And here comes Johnny Mahalchuk. Everybody's trying to miss him. Oh, gets hit twice, 3 times. And there were some major hits in there. We're going to have to hope that was none of your Championship 4 contenders that got involved in that. So back this up again here and show you what happens to Pajari from a little bit of a different angle. This is going to be TV1. I don't really like the view that gives as much. Let's see if we can get a bit of a better angle. So as he comes off of the turn here, you're going to see he's going to go extra, extra low. And at that point, you see he's already, of course, lost control. But watch right. It just doesn't show it. All right, so here we go. We'll watch it from the chopper view. So for Alan Pajari, as he gets down on the dogleg here soon, and I mean as soon as he hits this transition, the car's going to just start to slide out from under him. So watch this. He goes from banking to flat. Right as he does, notice how that car's starting to point, slowly but surely offset to the left. Now he's pretty much lost it, and he's just going to try everything to not hit this inside safer barrier. He does a good job of that. He's able to keep it off the inside safer barrier, but the problem is now he's got all his momentum headed back up the racetrack. He's trying to turn it back left. You see the tire marks skating across the road, and then as he comes back down, he saved it that second time, but then this overcorrection was the one that cost him, and at some point, it's in your best interest to just lock it down. I know you're trying to drive out of it, but right there, I think if Pajari just locks it down, he slides off the racing surface, maybe still gets a caution to regroup, but instead, as he keeps trying to save it, it loops all the way back around on him, and this time it's on track. This is where it gets dangerous. This is the highest speed section of the racetrack, and you've got a bunch of onrushing traffic here, and they're just not all going to be able to miss him. Benedict already commits to the outside, stays there and just rockets right into the 34. Then Johnny Mahalchuk, nowhere to go. Here comes Jacob Musso. He piles in, and it was almost a domino effect with the way the cars actually ran into him here, because notice what happens. Johnny Mahalchuk, I think initially he's going to miss this as he starts turning down low, but the problem is as he gets hit here, as the 34 Pajari gets hit, that's going to send this car down, and so now Mahalchuk's right in the direct line. That sends him down even more to Jacob Musso, who initially was also going to completely miss it. So for Bill Benedict, really all 3 of these cars, this is major damage that they're going to have to go in to get worked on. But let's watch it from the onboard view here of Jacob Musso. Sure, this was an interesting look. This was I haven't quite seen a wreck like that before. And for Musso, he was just coming out of the pit, so he figured he'd stay low, he'd be okay. And just unfortunately not the case. This is what it looked like from the static point. For Pajari's, watch the car hop. And by that point, it already had happened, so we'll back this up a little bit more for you. But you're going to see, and as it comes back up here, it actually hops, and this plays a little bit of a part in the reason he's still out of control. You saw that left front hopping, and then even the right front there, splitter's still bouncing around as the car is just trying to get resettled. And as he goes back down, he'll eventually come back up, and so things are really going to get ugly here. Johnny Mahalchuk and Bill Benedict piling in with nowhere to go. We'll give you one more shot here from the blimp cam before we go back live. Benedict committing to the outside here. I think if Benedict goes a little bit higher, he maybe misses it. But even if he misses it, he's still going to have to hit the outside wall. I'm just surprised he had so much speed carrying into this wreck. Watch it again from the cockpit view here for Benedict. So at this point, he sees it, but well, he lets off really, really late. Gonna wonder if he was making some sort of in-car adjustment and saw it late or what, but either way, tough break. All right, back live. Pace car is pulled off. Means we're getting ready to go back green. Here we go. Fitzgerald, Jeff Marble, Tai Iopolito, Cody Matthews, and Thomas O'Hara round out your top 5. Jay Kickson now up to 6th as well. Could this have been the caution break that he needed? We're getting ready to find out. Green flag is back in the air. 88 of 156 laps complete at Phoenix. They all fan out through the dogleg. These first 2 laps, a lot of track position and a lot of opportunity to be gained. Further back, watch for Tyler Marble. He's got a lot of work to do. The 48 was pretty far back, and the bad news for the 48 is, he wasn't great on long runs. One of the ways to counter that is save some tire in the short run, but with all the track position he's going to have to make up now, I don't know if he's even going to be able to afford to do that. So watch for Tyler here. We'll see what approach he takes to try to get back to the field, but again, he's in 16th. So still a lot of work to do. Austin Fitzgerald, though, able to get out, back out in front. Trouble further back. Gets to bring out the caution. As Andrew Russo has gone around. Quentin Clark, the other car involved. Russo started to get loose. And as he came down, Quentin Clark got collected. Looks like most of the damage is sustained to the left front there, the 88. Let's go back and look at this one here. As Russo looks like he just starts to get sideways. And it's just been such a trouble spot, and you wouldn't expect it to be, but it certainly has, as it hits that banking. Rear end starts to slide out. And then here comes the onrushing Quentin Clark, who, as I mentioned, had nowhere to go. The 00 was not expecting him to get loose, and even when he started to come down, I wonder if Clark ever actually got a chance to see him. Then he's going to hit the inside wall as well. So that'll give him major suspension damage. Looks like the right front, the left front's locked up, and the right front is bent. So for Quentin Clark, this could be race-ending damage for him as well. Watch the cockpit view for Clark. I was saying, I don't know if he ever saw this here, or even if he did, he may have just saw it really late. I don't think he saw it, because up top, there's Russo getting loose. And yeah, he never saw it. Didn't have a chance to react, and at that point, the suspension was broken. Just another really, really tough break, a tough incident. As now some of these cautions that we're getting in the middle portions of this race could change up strategy a little bit. Gotta think that caution helps out Tyler Marble, because it should give him another chance here for another restart to try to make something happen. As we do go back up front, you see the 37 of Brian Conklin. He'll go by, gets the lucky dog. And it is Austin Fitzgerald being scored as your leader. Jeff Marble's in second. And you've got Ty Iopolito back in third with Cody Matthews in fourth. And Jake Hickson currently rounding out your top five. Thomas O'Hara sixth. Danny Gutierrez seventh. Kyle Oakley in eighth. Scott Glasso ninth. And Jared Bundy currently rounding out your top 10. Well, if you're just tuning in, we certainly appreciate you being here. Hope that you're having a good Monday night. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. We appreciate all that you do and have done for this country. I know that all the drivers on track tonight do as well, so if yourself or one of your loved ones is a veteran, make sure you tell them thank you for your service, and we thank them here in Ghost Racing Network for their service as well. Man, I mean, what a weekend. We had the Real Life NASCAR Championship races at Phoenix. Tonight we get the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series Championship at Phoenix. They had the Truck Race Championship, I believe it was last Tuesday. Again, I say I believe, and I also believe that the winner for that Truck Series Championship I thought was Tyler Marble. Yeah, sure enough it was. So Tyler looking to see if he can make back-to-back championships a reality. He's got the option here tonight. We'll have to see if it happens or not. Either way, don't forget that the winner of the championship will get a custom-designed t-shirt from one of the sponsors that jumped on board for FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series this season. Okay, so lights are still on the pace car. This was a lap more than I expected. So we'll see if they decide to go off this time. Either way, though, we're starting to get towards the later portions of this race now. In fact, once we get to probably about lap 104, I would say, that's when you're really starting to get to kind of that last stretch, the last third of this race, and you really got to start to dial it in and dial it up here if you're one of these championship 4 contenders. And when you mentioned for Tyler Marble in 16th, he's now up to 15th. The big issue here that the 48's contending with is that he's a lap down right now. And this is part of the worry that you have when you get those pit stops. And the way things worked out, Tyler Marble is currently trapped a lap down. Now, he is the first car on the lead lap at the moment, and he's going to be racing a couple guys for that lucky dog spot. But, I mean, Tyler, he's going to need at least one more caution. You can't get back on the lead lap and get all the way back to the front here without one. So he's going to need it soon, but I would say watch for that 48 to try his best here to tear through the field because, I mean, at this point, what has he got to lose? He needs to stay in front of as many of those guys as he can, not be involved in a wreck. And if he could somehow get himself back on the lead lap the hard way here, then he would be in a better position if they got another yellow as well. All right, field back in the 2x2 formation. We've seen trouble now through the dogleg a few times here tonight. We'll see if everybody can get through clean on this restart. We'll go to the blimp cam here. Watch out, Fitzgerald. Does he get a good restart? Yes, he does. This time, though, Jeff Marble actually gets a pretty good one to match him. They'll stay side by side as they cross the line before they dive down through the dogleg towards turn number 1. 4 wide, a little bit further back there, just briefly, Jeffrey Souza. That blue and white car was trying to get to the inside of Jared Bundy up front. Ty Iopolito did get to the inside of Jeff Marble, but he's not going to have the momentum off the corner. Jeff gets that spot back. Jay Kickson now up to 4th. The 16 needs one more spot before he's back to being nose to tail with 2 of the other championship 4. You wonder how hard will Ty Iopolito race his teammate if he gets there. And what does Jay Kickson do? We know how much long run speed he's had, but now that he's near the front, what kind of short run speed does he have? There's Tyler Marble in the 48. Trying again just to see if he can hold on to that lucky dog spot right now and catch a break with a caution. And it looks like they have single filed out now through the front 4, and then it's 2x2 further back. Danny Gutierrez alongside Cody Matthews. And this is the battle for 5th. Scott Glasso, ooh, Jared Bundy had a big wiggle just in front of him. Glasso had to cut him a break right there. Nice job to give him a little room to make sure he held on to that. And then Kyle Oakley on the inside of Scott Glasso. Oakley maybe getting a little physical there as he washed up the racetrack just a bit. Watch Kyle Oakley here. Watch the right hand here as they go down the back stretch and down the front stretch, I should say. Let's see if he has to grab that shifter sequential, or if he's on another setup here that's just 4th gear. Let's watch it here. Let's get down the dog leg. Yep, sure enough, you see that right hand go down, so he will pull it back and grabs 5th gear just briefly before going back down to 4th into turn number 1. All right, so this is the time in the race where you got to start making a plan here if you're Jeff Marble. I mean, the 74, he's had more pace pretty much all night, but the one thing that you have is the fact that you've been pretty close, arguably maybe a little faster, at least earlier on when it came to the short run. So, I don't know if he's going to have enough time to take advantage now. He may have let him go just a little bit too much here on the short run, but if Jeff gets back to him, I think you got to try to pounce, or even if we get another caution, do everything you can. Use up those tires to get by early and then try to play defense. I know you're saying, well, how is he going to hold him off then if he's got older tires? He may or he may not, but at some point you got to try something different here. If Fitzgerald's better in the long run and you can't get by him in the short run, you're never going to be able to catch him. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if Jeff Marble tries something different. Now for Jay Kickson, it's kind of the opposite way for him. We saw how good he was on the long run, but he had to go through traffic. Well, now he doesn't really have a lot of lap traffic that he has to go through, and we'll see if he's still as good on the long run. If that's the case, then maybe the 16 has something to go up here and contend with his teammate with. We'll have to find out. And then, of course, for Tyler Marble right now, still in the conversation, but to really be in it, he's going to need a caution, as he is now being scored in 15th, but still being scored a lap down. And right now, ooh, man, Jeff Marble just able to get clear right there in front of the nose of Ty Iopolito. Danny Gutierrez maybe setting up for another run here on the back bumper of Jay Kickson. By the way, Danny Gutierrez pretty much all season this year has been carrying the Ghost Racing Network sponsorship for us. If we go to the left, I thought it was on the left front. It might have just been on the side. Yeah, sure enough, Danny Gutierrez has it on the door. And so we certainly appreciate that. Danny means a lot. Always appreciate you keeping the Ghost Racing Network logo on for us. So as pretty much majority of the field has now single filed out, I don't believe that we are to expect another pit stop. It might be a little close, but I believe that everybody should be good to go to make it the rest of the way on fuel and tires. Now, if we have a late yellow, I think that you'll see a lot of drivers come in for tires, but fuel may no longer be an issue in this race. Jeff Marble looking for another run here on Austin Fitzgerald. Nothing doing that time. He still has Ty Iopolito pretty much breathing down his neck right now. Not giving him a lot of, not a lot of wiggle room here to try to maybe regroup and make something happen here when you've got that much pressure from behind. And you see Jeff there looking for a little bit of a block, trying to make sure Ty Iopolito knows, listen, you might be a little bit faster at the moment, but I think I've got something more in the long run, and I do not want you getting by yet. 3 Dynamic Autosports cars right now are running inside the top 5. And then Jeff Marble, Danny Gutierrez, the other 2. Jeff Marble, by the way, out of Buffalo, New York. He's been the captain of the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series and of Team Mobile iRacing for quite a while now. Man, how much this championship would mean to him if he could get it done. He's going to be coming up on 53 laps to see if he can make that dream a reality. But right now, it's still looking like all Austin Fitzgerald. He's been the most dominant car so far here tonight. We'll see if that continues after break. Stick with us for the championship here at Phoenix.
Capital Subaru, we value your time, whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team. Everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
All right, welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. Before we go back to full screen, did want to take you over here to our side-by-side to take you over a couple more things here to round out the season. First of all, I know we mentioned it a couple times throughout the playoffs, but there is that non-playoff driver points battle that continues and will come to a conclusion here after tonight. Brandon Saylor, Danny Gutierrez, the two closest drivers battling for the winner of that championship. And again, I call it a championship, but again, it's kind of a non-playoff driver championship where the winner of it is going to get $15. Second place will get $10. Third will get $5. And again, it's just whoever accumulates the most points, and whichever non-playoff driver, I should say, accumulates the most points by the end of this playoff battle. So as it stands right now, again, that is Brandon Saylor, Danny Gutierrez, and Jeffrey Souza as your top three. First will take home $15 after the points are calculated after here tonight. And then $10 to second, $5 to third. We mentioned that Ty Iopolito, of course, was your Rookie of the Year. Quentin Clark came second in points for rookies. Michael Mueller third, and then Kenneth Bartholomew came fourth in points for rookies. And we had a couple more. Some joined late. Some had started the season but didn't finish it. So those were the four that we saw throughout the entirety of the season. And then also, thank you to all sponsors, drivers, and fans for everything that you guys do and help making the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series possible. Think of sponsors, and if I miss any, I do apologize. They had all sorts of sponsors this season, but you look to the premier sponsor, the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist, for everything that they've done. They've been with this series now for multiple seasons. Capital Auto Group and their sponsorship for the No Bull 5 Challenge. And you look even to Butt Kicker. They've been on now a couple seasons. DA, I believe it's DA Design Studio. And of course, I believe that's the company that is giving away the free t-shirt to the champion here tonight. BMP, new sponsor this season. They sponsored a handful of races, and of course the BMP Rookie Challenge, Rookie of the Year Challenge. Souza Media hopped on late in the season to sponsor the Vegas race. Stint Analyzer as well. So thank you to Souza Media and Stint Analyzer for helping. And then of course Sim Racer Hub is the official website for point standings for the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. So thank you to them as well. All right. Back to full screen we go. 116 of 156 laps complete here at Phoenix. You've got Fitzgerald still leading the way. Jeff Marble second. Jake Hickson in third. Well, you'd almost think it's like a script. You know, this is just the way it plays itself out. The top three are all championship drivers. It really shouldn't be too much of a surprise. And really, if Tyler Marble wasn't currently trapped a lap down, he very well might be in that fourth position. And instead, that is being occupied by Danny Gutierrez. And you know, good and bad news here for Jeff Marble is that, you know, he's not really losing a lot, at least not a lot per lap here on Fitzgerald. The bad news is that, you know, he's still half a second behind, and if he can't start closing it up and there's not another pit stop, then it becomes, well, what is the 15 supposed to do to go up and track down this 74? And the answer is, I'm not really sure. I mean, there's only so many adjustments that you can actually make from inside the car as you're driving it. And even the adjustments that you can make, I don't think is the issues for the 15 right now. I just think that the 74 is a bit faster. So that gap, slowly but surely, should continue to kind of expand between your leader and second place. So then it becomes a question of what can Jake Hickson do here? Trapped behind the 15 of Jeff Marble. Can he find a way around this 15 car? And about the manufacturer split, too, of your championship for 2 Mustangs, 2 Chevys, no Toyotas to be heard of this season. At least not in the championship 4. So now with what's going to be just 36, 37 laps to go when they cross the line this time. Slowly but surely now starting to get to the later portions of this race. And by the way, of course, if you're wondering about what's in store next season for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, well, you know that they're probably going to get things started again right around the time of the real-life races. I believe it's actually the Monday after the real-life Daytona 500 is when the season will kick off officially for them. The duels, I believe, will be the Monday before that. So if you're interested in joining, make sure that you do check them out. We have the link in the description to their Discord, and for a lot of people, you start in the Truck Series, run that for a season, and you can get a promotion. In certain cases, you might be able to get a promotion right out of the gate to the Cup Series, which of course is the Premier Series. And by the way, for anybody who likes fixed setups, trucks are fixed, and then the Cup Series is open sets. Cody Matthews here with a little bit of a blinking issue. I think he's going to be able to get that sorted out. So for the most part, the field's pretty single file right now, and pretty uniform, I should say. It's a little bit of 2x2 back here with, looks like Thomas O'Hara, I believe that was. O'Hara right now was side by side, I should say, with Brian Conklin, but looks like he has since been able to grab that position. The 5 of GT Hawkins is back there as well. See the 39 of Ryan Haynes just in front of him. We'll see if O'Hara is able to get up there and pick that position up. That would put O'Hara up 12 spots from where he started this race at and move him to the 11th position. Jeffrey Souza right now. Oh, trouble! Jared Bundy. Hold on to it. Oh, it's going to bring out the caution. Caution is out. Boy, you know who needed that break? Tyler Marble. See if we get any reaction out of that one. That's a huge break for Tyler Marble in the 48. That caution was what dictated the only chance he was going to have here. Because he had to, you got to be on the lead lap to have a shot at it. And so for Tyler Marble, that's a huge break. And so, you know, he's excited about that. All right. So let's go back and look at what brought out this caution here. Jared Bundy. I'm going to assume there's just a little bit of contact from behind here. There's something that gets this 3-car turned around. And then it was when he looped back up on the racetrack that it actually brought out the caution. So he's racing alongside with Kyle Oakley. They go in the corner. He lets Oakley go. And then he's going to try to turn it behind Oakley. Glasso's thinking that he might be able to sneak in there as well. I don't know if maybe Glasso either didn't expect the 3 to go down, or maybe Bundy made it a last-second decision to go down. I'm not sure. But either way, a little bit of that unspoken miscommunication that can lead to these kind of incidents where, again, neither driver trying to cause that right there. Glasso had no reason to hit Bundy. Bundy had no reason to cut off Glasso necessarily. It was just two guys not on the same page, and of course, they're not communicating. They're just kind of watching what they're doing on the racetrack. Watch it again here, but this time we'll go to the onboard view for Scott Glasso. Show you what it looked like from his end. So he sees Jared Bundy here get hard on the brakes, and he says, okay, well, if you're going to stay high, I'll go low. But then Bundy tries to commit back to the inside, and some contact. You saw Souza also get into the back of Scott Glasso, but he was able to save it. They were both able to save it, as a matter of fact. It was Bundy who ultimately went around that brought out this caution here. Let's see. So he slides here. He keeps it rolling. Ooh, it's that second. He's trying everything here to get it straightened and back in the right direction. But it's going to be the second correction. Like right there, if he locks it down, he's probably okay. Slides onto the apron, then straightens it out, but he just keeps letting it roll, and when it rolls around, it spins all the way around. Tyler Marble, one of your championship 4 drivers who had to make sure he didn't get any X's from that to get that lucky dog, was able to miss him, went by on the outside, and then it looks like everybody else was able to do the same. So not really a wreck, just a single spin and an incident that does still indeed bring out the caution. And a late race caution, I might add. We may not be within 10 laps to go, but I mean, these late cautions, they're going to start to make it interesting. I want to go grab some popcorn. Things could be getting ready to get really, really chaotic and exciting here with what I believe is going to be right around 25 laps or so to go. Do one more angle here from the static view. So there's Bundy getting ready to go into the corner, and then next view that we have is Bundy looping it around. So a tough break for Jared Bundy. He'll lose his track position as the 3 goes all the way to the back of the field now. Meanwhile, up front, Austin Fitzgerald still being scored as your leader in both the race and the championship 4. Then it's Jake Hickson now, though, being scored in second, up 11 from where he started. Jeff Marble 3rd, Danny Gutierrez 4th, and Tai Iopolito rounding out your top 5. And I'm really curious about how this sequence of pit stops went, as this could potentially, if I say potentially, be the final pit stop of the race. It'll be interesting to see. So here we go. Let's go back and, oh, I don't want to go that far back. Let's go watch this round of pit stops here. Let's see, did any of the top 4 drivers decide to bring it in? That's my big question. So let's back it all the way up here. All right, so here we go. There's Jacob Musso. He's already going into the pits. Let's watch Fitzgerald and company. Yeah, so it looks like he is going to bring down Jeff Marble and Jake Hickson with him. So then that leads to the question of, did Hickson just have a better stop? Or did Jeff Marble maybe take 4 and Hickson only took 2? Let's see if we can figure it out here. Let's see what Jake Hickson takes here as he'll pull into his box. Comes to a halt. Let's see, do we see both sides of the race car go up? There's the rights. And as he'll drop it down, looks like he takes less as well. So Jake Hickson, he takes 4 tires. Then as he gets out here, watching comparison to Jeff Marble and company here, who have those further pit boxes up. Jeff Marble still getting the left sides worked on. Jack drops. And I think Hickson just beats him out of the pits. Wow. All right. Usually you don't think of yellow flag pit stops as a way to gain track position, but Hickson did it there, and now opportunity's knocking at the door here for Dynamic Autosports. Fitzgerald still leading, just under 30 laps away from a championship. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Fitzgerald going to dive all the way down as low as he can go. Jeff Marble trying everything to slide up in front of the 16 of Jake Hickson, and he'll be able to do so. Jake Hickson, what is he going to do? He's in a good spot, but again, we've seen the 16 kind of play it conservative on the short runs here tonight and try to save that car for the long run. You know, with just under 30 laps to go, you wonder at what point do you consider this a short run and start going for it. Ooh, Tai Iopolito's loose. Gutierrez is going to go around. 2-car spin is going to bring out the caution. Tai Iopolito and Danny Gutierrez got together after Gutierrez started to get loose. Caution is back out, and now this will give us a restart with inside 25 to go. I think Gutierrez is okay. I don't see any damage. It was just more or less a harmless spin. Well, a harmless spin, maybe not that much, but there was contact, but he didn't hit a wall, I should say. So here we go. Just coming down the track. I know that was a little glitchy right there, so we'll back it up, show you again. But so watch what happens here. Gutierrez, as they're coming off the corner. Ooh, there's actually some contact between him and Iopolito in the middle of the corner. Wonder if that got Gutierrez loose. Let's see. Tai Iopolito gets into him. I think it did. I think it played a little part in Gutierrez getting loose, and then as the car starts to go around, he's trying to get on the throttle, and eventually just loops all the way around on him, and he starts to slide down here. I wonder, maybe he saves it. Maybe it's hard to say if, you know, Iopolito's not there, but he is, and so Gutierrez runs straight into Tai Iopolito. But man, you know who that was another close call for was Tyler Marble. I mean, he's dodging bullets right now, and this is actually, I mean, watch how close this is. Watch from the cockpit view. This is Tyler Marble. He's going to see this here. And the way it pans out, he ends up being, I mean, inches from getting clipped by Gutierrez. Oh, my goodness. Very, very close call right there. But again, a nice save. Nice, I guess I should say a nice wreck avoidance, rather, for Tyler Marble to miss that one. And not cost himself. As Bill Benedict also had to make an evasive maneuver. All right, so as we go back live again now, it's 131 of 156 laps complete. So when they cross the line this time under caution, that's when it will officially be 25 laps to go here in the desert. You've got Austin Fitzgerald still being scored as your leader. Of course, none of the leaders going to come in for tires as they just went back to green flag racing. So you've got Fitzgerald leading, Jeff Marble back to second now as Jake Hickson will restart third. Jeffrey Souza, who had a great run at Martinsville last week, got a podium, looking to do it again here at Phoenix tonight. And you remember back to that interview post-race with Souza last week. Said he felt pretty good about the setup that he was going to be bringing here tonight. So we'll see what happens with him. But Jake Hickson who's in third. Again, didn't fire off very good. He really hasn't fired off good in the short runs at all this race, but he's been pretty good in the long run. The problem is we don't really have any more long runs left in this race. Even without a caution, it's only going to be, looks like maybe 23 laps to go or so when we get the green flag back in the air for this race. So I think the driver out of Harrison, Tennessee, he might need a, and I know it's hard to say, and I'm just up here in the booth watching, but he might need to figure out something to be a little bit more aggressive here on the short run. As, I mean, if Fitzgerald's got it all right now. He's got short run speed, he's got long run speed, and he's got a whole bunch of confidence because he has led the most laps of this race, and it's not even close. But you know, he is starting to get really, really nervous. Fitzgerald looking to claim the championship. He's been fighting all season for it. And even if you fight all season, it can all come down to just one mistake to end your chances. So with that being said, Fitzgerald, he's not going to feel at all comfortable yet, although I'm seeing a smile there. He's a really chill dude. If you ever hear him talking to us in these post-race interviews, he's always pretty calm, cool, and collected. Even when he's angry, you'd almost not know he's angry with the way he talks, but he'll make sure that he lets you know if he is. So Austin Fitzgerald right now going to be just 23 laps away from a championship. And this race goes back green, and now it starts to become more of that elbows out mentality. If you're Jeff Marble, you may not be so friendly to this 74 anymore. You may start to think about not quite giving him as much room when you work up out of the turns. You may think about maybe trying to dive it in a little bit later to his inside if you get the opportunity. But what you don't want to do is accidentally get tangled together and let that 16 slip by. See what they can do. 3 of your championship 4 drivers in the mix, and don't forget about Tyler Marble. You see right now he's being scored back in 11th. Another caution might help him if he could get 3 or 4 laps here of nothing but track position. But he's going to have to pretty much go like a bat out of hell right here. 48 that is, to try to get back to the front, and then like I said, maybe catch a late caution. Set us up for one crazy finish. Either way, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. You're going to want to stick here all the way to the end. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. 23 laps to go at Phoenix. Good restart for Austin Fitzgerald all the way to the inside. He'll clear up as he did on the previous 2 starts. This time Hickson does turn up the intensity just a little bit. He was able to get to the inside of Jeff Marble before they got to turn 1 and 2. Hickson, can he get clear up? No, he can't. Jeff Marble has the momentum on the outside. The 15 is going to try everything here to get clear the 16 before 3 and 4, but he can't do it. Hickson's going to hold it even and hold him honest on the inside. Now watch for Jake Hickson to cut the dog leg short away around here. Can the 16 get back clear? The 15 doesn't look like it. In fact, he'll actually have to slot back in line behind the 15 car. That was all the restart Austin Fitzgerald needed, and he liked seeing those two get a little racy out back. Any sort of tire that they wear off battling each other is going to help him out. Further back, you saw, I think that was the 42 of Roger Shelton all the way at the back of the field that just scraped the outside wall as they came off of turn 2. He appears to be okay. And so now Fitzgerald, who we talked about, had really good long run speed and good short run speed, but Jeff Marble also had decent short run speed, so how does this all weigh out? If you're Jeff Marble, I mean, I would think you got to start experimenting pretty much right now in terms of which lane's going to be the fastest. You can see Fitzgerald looked a little better on exit right there, but let's hop on board here for a few laps and see if there's anywhere on this racetrack where Jeff feels like he can close in a little bit. Jeff looked really good right there through 3 and 4, and you hear him burning up quite a bit of tire in the process, and this is why I was saying earlier, too, that I think if you're Jeff Marble right now, if you get any opportunity to get around this 74, you got to go for it. I mean, even if that means using up a ton of tire to do so and just having to play defense, I think that's going to be his best shot. I mean, if this 74 car is able to stay out in front for another handful to a couple handful of laps to where he starts to pull away again, I just don't know if anybody else is going to be able to really close it back up on him. That was interesting. You saw Jeff Marble take a little bit of a more shallow entry approach right there as well. Boy, he was really diving it down low. Saw some tire smoke out back there. Wasn't sure who that was. 15 running up just about as high as he can through 1 and 2, trying to get that big arc and big momentum down the back straightaway to try to close in on Fitzgerald. And I think realistically, if he wanted to think about any sort of bump and run move, he'd have to be probably within about 1/10 of a second of Fitzgerald coming into that final corner 18 laps from now. And you can tell that Jeff, I mean, he's doing everything he can here. He just can't seem to find anymore. At least not yet. If Fitzgerald slips up, 15 will be there. But if he doesn't, I'm just not sure how it's going to pan out here. Jake Hickson, he's pushing pretty hard right now as well. And look at Tyler Marble, the 48 car. He is already back up to the 6th position now. after that restart where he was back in 11th. He's looking for more here, and he's going to have to get pretty aggressive on the back bumper of Jeffrey Souza, and he knows it. See the 48 immediately dive as low as he can go on the dog leg. Let's hop on board now with the 48 of Tyler Marble. This will be a pretty fun view to watch for a couple laps. See, he lets the car slide up through 1 and 2 before he arcs it back down, and that car looks like it's getting a little loose on him. Tyler Marble's going to have to drive the wheels off of this thing for the remainder of this race, but he has almost got himself back into conversation. Cody Matthews, by the way, having a phenomenal run right now. He's up 11 spots, and this could be a season best finish here for Matthews if he can hold on to that 3rd spot. He better be ready to hold on too, because I'm telling you, if Tyler gets there and that 10 gets into any sort of race with them, I'm sure Tyler's not going to be having it for too long. So when they cross the line this time, it'll be 15 laps to go, and you can now see all of your Championship 4 drivers within one camera frame. Austin Fitzgerald still leads. Jeff Marble 2nd, Jake Hickson 3rd, Tyler Marble back in 4th. Excuse me, in 5th right now, looking to get up to 4th. And if you're Tyler Marble right here, I mean, you know, he's already used up a bunch of stuff just to get to this point. He's going to be trying everything he can the rest of the way, but, I mean, what does he do if we get another caution? He's got that track position now, but he's burned up his tires, so does he have a set left that he can go get? Does he just hope that the restart's chaotic enough that he can make something happen that way? Those are big questions, and with just 13 laps to go, the probability of a caution starts to go down as things start to get more and more spread out. Fitzgerald's still rolling 1 and 2 really, really well. Jeff Marble is going to try to close back in on him. I think Jeff realistically has probably about 5 to 7 more laps or so before he's going to start to fade after using these tires up. So he's going to keep trying to close. You know, you kind of look at the different lines, too, that they're running through the corner. You know, Jeff's running that high line through 1 and 2 here, trying to get a bigger arc than Fitzgerald on exit of the corner. And, ooh, he may have got something right here if he can make it stick. Can he get the hammer down? He does. Jeff Marble, though, maybe with a little bit of contact there on exit with the wall, not able to gain as much as it looked like he was initially going to. Now just 12 laps to go, 12 laps away from Austin Fitzgerald getting his championship dream, or excuse me, making his championship dream come true here tonight after a hard-fought season of domination, 13 wins. And man, after the way it ended last season, that would be something that would make it all that much more sweeter. It is so hard as a driver when you spend all season working for something, you're so close to getting it, and then things just don't work out. For Fitzgerald, of course, that's the way it happened last season in the championship. Had the car to win the race, and unfortunately had a technical issue that took him out of it. So you already knew this season he was coming into it with some fire. Here tonight, he has picked up right where he left off at the Phoenix Championship race last season. And again, I mean, you think back, Quentin Clark got the win here at Phoenix in the spring. Now, the point I'm trying to make here for the 74 is he definitely had to make some adjustments and try to change something, because he's looked a little bit faster than he was even in the spring here. But for the 74, it wasn't about winning the race. It was about winning the championship here tonight. Winning the race, though, you got to assume would be all that much sweeter. And everybody else right now, it's running up here in the top 10, and yeah, they're pretty much single filed out. The only thing I can see bringing out a caution at this point would be as if somebody had an issue through that ever tricky dog leg. It's been such a struggle here for most of the night. It's Jared Bundy. Uh-oh. Boy, he hit the wall pretty hard. What in the world happened here to Bundy? This damage has really hurt him. We won't have time to go back and look at it right now. Maybe if we get a caution, but just 9 laps to go now, and that gap has gone from about 0.3 of a second now to almost 0.5 of a second. Jeff Marble with the alloy wheel repair specialist paint scheme on his number 15 Ford Mustang, trying everything he can right now, and it looks like he's gotten into a bit more of a rhythm. You can see it looks like he's a little bit smoother, and again, you wonder, it's just a little bit of a difference. Something to do with these two setups being that Fitzgerald's able to shift on the dog leg and Jeff Marble isn't. You see down here into 1 and 2 that Fitzgerald doesn't shift. It was on the dog leg where we thought he was shifting. Actually, watch it here. As he gets to the dog legs, he gets down in the corner. There he shifts up to 5th. And the reason part of me wonders if that could be playing a role in this is especially, watch as they get over here towards 1 and 2. And this will be the best way to kind of tell you. So remember, when they got to the end of the corner, Fitzgerald was redlining right here. As they got towards the start of 3 and 4, Fitzgerald was redlining. Jeff Marble's not. And so what that partially tells me is that the gearing ratio is maybe a little bit shorter for Austin Fitzgerald, meaning that he's able to get a little bit more acceleration off the corner in 4th gear than Jeff Marble is right now. Certainly wonder if that's part of it. Jake Hickson still well within camera view here. He's about 0.8 of a second back behind his teammate and about 0.5 of a second back, make it 4 now, behind Jeff Marble. And now officially going to be just a handful left. 5 laps to go at Phoenix here for Austin Fitzgerald. But he doesn't care about that number. The one he wants to see more than anything right now is the white flag. He doesn't want to have to deal with another caution that could potentially change the outcome of this race. Still looking nice and smooth here. Through 1 and 2, Jeff Marble continues to try to work around, looking for anything different that he can try. A little bit of 2x2 now here with GT Hawkins and Brian Conklin. These two giving each other plenty of room as they work through 3 and 4. Conklin on the inside, GT Hawkins on the outside. So far, so good. GT Hawkins, though, going to hang tough on the outside, at least for now, as it is just officially 4 laps to go. 4 laps and a championship waiting for one of these top 3 drivers. Even the 5th place driver right now, Tyler Marble, but it looks like Marble not going to be able to get any closer, at least not right now. That'll make it just 3 laps to go now. For Fitzgerald, he's going to run these next 2 faster than he has ran any laps all race. Here's the lap time comparison between Fitzgerald and Jeff. Fitzgerald's been faster 4 out of the last 5 laps. We'll see what it is this time, but for Jeff Marble, he has now fallen back to almost 0.7 of a second back. Not close enough to make a bump and run move, even if he wanted to try it. And this is going to be it. I mean, Jeff's got to find something right now. This is kind of the last-ditch effort. We'll look at that lap time in just a moment for Jake Hickson. Hickson trying to catch Jeff here. He's been a little bit faster. Looks like 3 out of the last 4 laps, but that's not going to be enough either. And it looks like Fitzgerald was better that lap as well. Jeff Marble's going to have one more chance to find something, but now that he has passed 0.7 of a second, it may not matter. And here we go for Austin Fitzgerald. 1 lap away from a championship. White flag is in the air at Phoenix. Fitzgerald looking for 2 more good sets of corners. He gets through 1 and 2. So far, so good. Smooth through the middle and smooth on exit. Dynamic Auto Sports, they tried something different. They picked up 2 rookie teammates this season. But for Fitzgerald, it was a breakout, a highlight, and a storytelling season. 13 wins. He'll make it 14 tonight, and he'll get redemption for last year. Austin Fitzgerald is a champion in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. You see the look of relief. In dominant fashion, you saw the fist pump. And that's one of those championships where I think you're almost more relieved than you are excited, because he knows the effort he has had to put in to get to this point. It's been a heck of a season. It's been a heck of a playoff run. He could retire tomorrow, and he would probably go out as having one of the best seasons that any driver in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series has had. And all that hard work and dedication comes down to one race. It came down to tonight. He had to go out and execute. He did it on the short run. He did it on the long run. And he did it when it mattered most, during that final run after the caution. And Austin Fitzgerald is a champion and a winner at Phoenix. Burn it down here in front of the virtual grandstands. And make sure that you do stick around. We'll have interviews with your top 3, plus Tyler Marble, the 4th of your championship drivers who did not finish in the top 3. So the championship goes to Dynamic Auto Sports. They get Rookie of the Year. They get the championship. The only thing they don't get is the Noble 5 Challenge. Fitzgerald's going to continue to bring it around here and continue to celebrate. So as he does so, I'm going to go ahead and bring up your finishing results here tonight. Take a look at what it was after your top 3. Of course, Fitzgerald is your race winner and your season champion. Jeff Marble brings home 2nd. There's Jake Hickson back in 3rd with Cody Matthews in 4th. Scott Glasso 5th, Ty Iopolito in 6th. And you've got Tyler Marble back in 7th with Kyle Oakley 8th, Jeffrey Souza in 9th, and Ryan Haynes rounding out your top 10. GT Hawkins finishes back in 11th, Brian Conklin 12th, Thomas O'Hara 13th with Roger Shelton in 14th. Then it's Danny Gutierrez back in 15th, Jared Bundy in 16th. Christian Losgen finishes in the 17th spot here tonight. It's Greg Bartlett back in 18th, and rounding out the top 20 is going to be Bill Benedict and Quentin Clark. Jacob Musso, he finishes in 21st, Andrew Russo 22nd, and it's Alan Pajari back in 23rd with Johnny Mahalchuk 24th. Mark Zabak 25th with Michael Mueller in 26th, and Brett Spod rounding out the field tonight. He finishes in 27th. All right, we're going to go grab your top 3, including your top 3, and then, of course, the other one of your Championship 4 drivers, Tyler Marble, so stick with us. We'll be right back at Phoenix. All right, going to kick things off here first tonight, of course, with your champion, Austin Fitzgerald. Austin, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Austin.
Well, you've done it, man. You grabbed the championship. What a season it's been. And, I mean, especially, first of all, how does it feel knowing the way it ended last season?
Yeah, it feels great, honestly. You know, I didn't even want to say, you know, the words computer crash. I was afraid it's going to jinx me. My computer hasn't crashed all year, but with my luck, I felt like it's going to crash today. So I was so worried about that. You know, I've been in the championship for the 3 years I've been here, and, you know, I wasn't able to get it until today. So I just, yeah, you know, I'm really stoked. You know, I mean, sure, I guess I got a lot of wins throughout the year, but they mean nothing, you know, compared to getting the championship. So, yeah, everybody, you know, there was a couple close calls there in the beginning. It looks like someone's throttle stuck. And it's just a missile. Well, it came right behind me and between me and Jeff, I think. But no, it feels great, man. Super stoked to win it, and super stoked for Dynamic Autosports that we could bring the championship home.
And, man, you say those wins don't matter if you don't get the championship, but now that you got it, you got to look back. It's been a storybook season in the sense of 13, now 14 wins with the one here tonight. You get a driver that gets Rookie of the Year. You got 2 of your teammates in total, including yourself, in the championship 4, you and Jake Hickson. I mean, what was it about this season that Dynamic Autosports, they came out, you guys established yourselves, you had great rookies, you had great veterans, and you bring home a championship?
You know, teamwork. You know, we all work on the sets throughout the week together, you know, give each other input, you know, encourage one another. You know, we race each other clean, but yeah, you know, we race each other hard. And, you know, just being on a great team just adds a whole nother dynamic, you know, no pun intended to the sport. And yeah, super thankful for all the guys. And yeah, next year, hopefully we could do it again.
Absolutely. Going to have a pretty high bar that you've already set to try to go above next season. But hey, as for tonight, before we let you go, head out to celebrate with your teammates, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'm going to celebrate with my family too. My 2 little girls and my wife Vanity. Shout out to them. I love my wife Vanity so much, and she's just so supportive. And my little girls, you know, constantly asking me how I did, and, you know, even being a little critical sometimes. If Emma, sometimes she'll ask, you know, how did I do, and I'll say, oh, you know, P2 or P4, and she'll say, no, Daddy, you're supposed to be P1, and she would want to watch the interviews. So I'm just so thankful for all of them. So thankful for Dynamic Autosports, like I was saying before, and then the rest of my family. I don't know if anybody's watching today. And then shout out to Acoustic Design Systems. I want to say, if you're in the Las Vegas area, you're in need of any audio, video stuff, just head on over to acousticdesignlv.com. We'll get you hooked up over there. Thank you, man, for putting on the broadcasts every week. You do a wonderful job. I have friends that watch, and they always say just how great the announcer is. Thank you. Huge shout out to Jeff and Tyler for putting on the league. You know, we have a great group of guys here, and Jeff and Tyler, they're always so they engage. They're really good with engagement throughout the week, and they put a lot of time and effort into it. And I honestly don't know how they do it, especially, they got family and, work and everything. And it's a lot of work, to put on one of these leagues. So big shout out to them. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, Austin, thank you so much for talking to us again. Congrats not only on the win, but the season championship as well. All the hard work pays off, and we will see you next season.
See you then.
All right, there you go. Austin Fitzgerald for Dynamic Autosports. Again, he is your season champion now. That'll bring us up to your second place finisher, and second place finisher in the championship as well. For Team Marble iRacing, it's Jeff Marble. Jeff, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. Well, you bring home second place here tonight. Man, it looked like you were trying everything. What more did you feel like the car needed to go up there and get to 74?
That's all I had, man. That was everything I had. As you could tell, the very first run of the race, the opening run of the race, I just used up my stuff because I wanted to get ahead of them into that clean air. Used the car up, and then we got that caution. When he had like a 6-7 second lead. So I'm like, let's try to loosen this up a little bit because it was a rolling tight. And then I made it too loose for that medium sized run we had there. Then for the restarts with like 20 something to go or whatever, I'm like, let me put it back to where it was because I knew I had something on the short run. And then he was just so good off the corners. I was mimicking his line. His turn-ins, I was coming in with the same speed, so I wouldn't run him over. Just kind of back up my corners, just kind of trying to save the tires at the same time. But he was able to pivot that car and then just right off the corner. So he had a lot more corner exit speed than I did, and that's all I had, man. I gave it a galleon effort. That's all I can ask for. I didn't embarrass myself because earlier in the week I ran an A Open. And I did the Ty Gibbs through the dog leg there, and I mean that was probably one of the hardest wrecks I had in iRacing, and some of the most damage. It was 18 minutes of damage required. I don't think I've ever had that much, but and then I ran another race, embarrassed myself, and yeah, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna do a lot of offline testing. That's all I can really do, and guess what the weather's gonna be. And turn on the old stint analyzer. Thanks to the Triad guys for providing great software so you can see which setups are the best on the longer run. And according to the stint analyzer, I was faster in Austin in practice. The 30 lap average was faster. It's just I couldn't get by him. Couldn't get into that fresh air. So congratulations to him. Jake made me work for it too. And hit it for Ty there. He had some struggling with the setup too. So it is what it is. Congratulations. Hell of a season.
Absolutely. And I know you came up just a bit short, but speaking of hell of a season in general, but I mean, even for Team Marble iRacing, you guys pick up a new rookie. 2 of your drivers make it to the Final Four. How'd you feel as the captain of the team overall, how it went as a team this season?
Yeah, we knew throughout the season as the season worked its way out, and we knew it would be the dynamic guys and most likely our team. The Riot guys really made us work for it for sure. So it could have been any three of us, our teams, to be in the top four. But the competition is so tough here. I mean, look at Cody Matthews. I think that's his best career finish here. Maybe not on a plate track. I don't know what his career best finish is, but fourth place at a place like Just Joint. Kudos to Cody that's a hell of a run there. So. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jeff, before we let you head out here tonight for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
God, I hope I don't forget anybody because this will be the last one for the season. All right. First and foremost, Coast Racing Network and you for putting on a great broadcast week in and week out, having to put up with my pettiness sometimes, but I appreciate it. And of course, Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist out of Richmond, Virginia. Without Brian Conklin and Alloy, we wouldn't be able to pay the drivers on a weekly basis. So thank you to the Brian and Alloy for putting in the hard work in the off season to get his boss to put the money up for us so these guys can get paid to make it a little more interesting. SimRacerHub.com. If anybody out there is running a league or you're thinking about making a league, go to that website, make yourself known. They keep unbelievable stats there. Anything and everything is there for stats. It's a phenomenal webpage. Butt Kicker. I contacted the people at Butt Kicker. They were gracious enough to donate a butt kicker to us. And the stipulation to get into the drawing in this league is you have to run all the races throughout the season. It keeps the car counts up. So it's kind of like bribery. And then you're also allowed your 2 provisionals. So I think if my count is right, there's 18 guys tonight that are eligible for that butt kicker drawing. We're going to hold that here shortly. Capital Auto Group, Jeff Schutz out there in Oregon, putting up the money for our No Bowl program. It's money that pays out to our biggest 5 races of the season. Driver with the best average finish in those races walked away with some cold hard no bowl money. So again, thank you for the Capital Auto Group for that. Bushnell Motorsports Park, they were gracious enough to sponsor our Rookie of the Year programs. Congratulations to Ty Ippolito for winning that. That was $50 going in his pocket. Thank you for Brett Spud and Ryan Haynes for putting the money up for that. If you're ever down in Florida and you're looking for something to do, Bushnell Motorsports Park, get yourself in a go-kart and go out there and have some fun. I know Austin's been out there having some fun himself. All right. Holy cow. Hope I don't forget anybody. Of course, my team, Tyler Marble, week in and week out. He does all of the artwork for the league. He sends you all the stuff for the broadcasts. A lot of hard work behind the scenes. I watch him working the GIMP program nonstop, doing all sorts of graphics and stuff. That's hard work. So kudos to him for that. Don Adamczak Design Studio. He's one of my co-workers up here in Buffalo, New York. Hell of a graphics designer. I can't wait to show these t-shirts to everybody. Austin's walking away with a t-shirt, a championship t-shirt. Tyler Marble's walking away with a championship t-shirt for the truck series. I've already seen what the design looks like. It's fantastic. And if there's interest, we're going to sell FastTrack t-shirts, and we'll get that going here pretty soon. We'll get a design up for that. Sorry for being long-winded. It's the last race of the season. Golly, I hope I didn't forget anybody. If I did, I apologize. Oh, iRacing iFlag for sponsoring our truck series. Got to give a shout out to Jeff Brown. So I think that's it. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. Well, hey, Jeff, thanks for talking to us. Again, congrats on the 2nd place finish tonight and the 2nd place finish in the championship. An overall great season, and we'll see you out here again next year.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Jeff Marble, 2nd place finisher tonight and in the championship. Now that'll move us to your final podium finisher and the 3rd place finisher in the championship, and that is Jake Hickson for Dynamic Autosports. Jake, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, loud and clear, Austin. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Well, man, I mean, for a rookie season, not too bad. You bring home 3rd place in the championship in your first season. First of all, I mean, you had to make up quite a bit of ground from where you started this race off at back in 13th. How did you even get into the podium?
It was a good car, right? We had a good setup on the Dynamic Ford Autosport tonight, so it was just a good setup, right? And I was pacing myself at the beginning of the race to make sure I had some good tires at the end of that first run, and it really paid off there because I was able to run down Jeff almost to 2.5 seconds. So I think I really made some ground. So it was just a really good setup. So it really helped out tonight with that setup on the car.
Well, the setup was good, and of course, you got to see your teammate Austin Fitzgerald grab the championship. I mean, overall, it's just your first season in the series, and I mean, how much did you get to learn as a driver, not only working with, 2 of the best in the series, I should say 3 of the best, but of course, 2 of the veterans in Fitzgerald and Pajari, and what do you kind of expect to have now that you've been to a championship going into next season?
Hopefully, I'm the one you're talking to as the champion next year, right? So no. So no, it's been a lot of fun racing with everybody this year, and hopefully we can do the same thing next year. And hopefully I'm the one that's winning. But hey, look, if it's anybody from this team, I'll be happy. So that's what it's all about. So no, really happy that Austin took it home for Dynamic, and really glad to be a part of the team. And yeah, just really ecstatic for him.
Well, Jake, thank you for talking to us. So before we let you head out here tonight for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, as always, I want to give a big shout out to you, Austin. I mean, you do a stellar job with these things. I hate that, I'm not going to be able to watch any more of your broadcasts that I'm racing in, but definitely tune into you, anything else you're doing. But a big shout out to my family, my dad watching back home, and my wife, especially for letting me do this always. And yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Jake, again, thank you for talking to us, and congrats on the 3rd place finish in the race and in the championship, and hopefully we'll see you again next year.
Yeah, definitely, Austin. Have a good one.
You as well. All right, now that'll bring us up to your 5th place finisher and final of the Championship 4 drivers. And actually, excuse me, back to 7th place finisher. That is Tyler Marble. Tyler, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, I know you're probably not wanting to talk to us too much right now. You finish in 7th, but boy, it was a heck of an effort there at the end of the race to try to get back up there. And I mean, what was kind of the mindset when you got put a lap down? And do you think with another caution, maybe you could have made something happen?
Well, first part of caution, first part with the being a lap down, yeah. You saw me try to do it the old-fashioned way. There was just no way. So once I exhausted my tires, I just held on there, let everybody back in the lead lap go, and then finally got that caution. And then, yeah, no, I didn't have anything. I just sucked. I straight up sucked. I deserved the 4th place in the points, 7th in the race. I deserve it. I totally deserve it. I'm gonna own it up and try again next year. I mean, that's just simply what it comes down to. Plus, Austin's just too damn good here. He led every lap, so he's the right guy to win it. 14 wins, wins the championship, wins the race. Points checked out, everything checked out. So, yeah, no, I didn't have anything, and try again next year.
I know you may not have felt as good as you wanted to, obviously, about the run here tonight, but overall as a season, you get 5 wins in the books, and of course, 2nd season in the row, since I've been here at least, that you make it to the Championship 4. So how do you kind of keep that momentum and that consistency up, and will we see you again here next year?
Yeah, the plan's definitely get back to Champ 4 next year and actually win the damn thing. Yeah, man, I don't want to make it sound like I'm bragging, but it is statistically true that I have, in both series, been in Champ 4 every single year. So the goal is the Champ 4. Finally got the Truck Series out of the way last week. So, yeah, we'll try to actually go out and deserve it next year for sure. The wins, definitely. I met my goal of the wins this year. And it's time to up the ante next year.
Sounds like a plan. Well, hey, before we let you head out here tonight for the final time of the season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting and putting up with me, my dad. I know it can be tough at times. Try to remember everything that we give you to broadcast in a professional manner. I'd like to thank everybody watching the broadcast, everybody that shows up to league week in, week out. I know the last couple weeks probably knocked the average down, but I like to say we ran on average 30 cars every single week. Not many leagues really at all can say that. So thank you. Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist out of Richmond. SimRacerHub.com for points, Butt Kicker, Dia Design Studio, BMP, Souza, Media, Stint Analyzer, Capital Auto. Can't forget Capital Auto. I know Chuck couldn't come out tonight, but yeah, he sponsored the Noble again in this race. I think that's everybody. The teammates, just everybody that puts this on, and we'll try to go next year.
Absolutely. Well, Tyler, thank you again for talking to us. Congrats on the 4th place finish in the championship. The Final 4 appearance stays consistent, and we will see you next season.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our coverage here tonight. And man, what a season it was. All in all, you look back to when things started at Daytona to where we are now, with, of course, Austin Fitzgerald being crowned a season champion. And man, the Championship 4, very, very talented drivers. They did not disappoint here tonight. A little bit short for Jeff Marble, Jake Hickson, Tyler Marble. Felt like maybe things could have been a little different. Jake Hickson, of course, feeling like it was still a great season as he was the only rookie to make a Championship 4 appearance. But again, at the end of the day, it was Austin Fitzgerald who finally, after trying for 3 seasons now, gets the job done and is crowned a champion. All right. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. It's been fun hanging out with everybody throughout this entire season. Not sure what it's looking like yet for next season, But either way, thank you all so much for everything that you've done for the series and the channel. So until next time, have a good night.